Hey everyone, Walter Bowne back for a second video. Today we're talking about scare headlines. I've been a little irritated by newspapers recently just because of the way they've been presenting the headlines. So as a student of history, let's take a look at some scare headlines. All right, the definition of a scare headline. This is from my good friend Wikipedia. Scare line, scarehead, headline, scare is a word or phrase that is often presented as a quote or headline that is emphasized text to scare the reader as part of a smear campaign sometimes against a political candidate, to cause an estrangement or to cause something to seem unfamiliar in a supernatural way. The term scare quote is sometimes used as to refer to scare lines that are direct quotations. Like you put in like quotes, as we'll talk about, like scare quotes, like you just highlight like I was horrified, quote unquote. But more often readers today use the dismissive quotation around a term to put irony, doubt, or scorn. All right. Why use scare headlines? Well, to sell newspapers. If you can get people scared or anxious or afraid, they will tune in. You might be watching more news lately, or your family, just because you just want to know exactly what's going on, exactly what, it's like, okay, does 24-hour, 24/7 news programs just make you more anxious, make you more scared? Probably. Will it pull you in and get more eyeballs to get more ad revenue? Definitely. When a snowstorm is coming in, guess what? It's coming. The snow apocalypse. Be ready. How many feet will we get? Is it 5? Is it 7? Tune in. Okay. It scares people. Right. This is not good journalism. Right. We're not talking about good journalism here. This is bad journalism. Right. But it pulls on natural fears and entices the audience to read, behind the headline. And like, oh, here's the headline. It grabs my attention. I'm scared. I'm anxious. Let me read on. So you buy the newspaper, you click on it. The more clicks you get, the more ad revenue you get. All right. This is from anxiety.org. Commentary: sex sells, but fear and anxiety sell more. Right. Breaking news seems to happen nonstop. It's like breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. It used to be breaking news. This just in: John F. Kennedy shot. This just in: Martin Luther King assassinated. That's breaking news. Now breaking news is breaking news: toddler abducted on corner in small town. More coming. Is your child next? That kind of crap. Okay. It just feeds on our anxiety and our fear. So I'm not going to have my kid play outside if, a kid was just kidnapped in 3 towns down, right? All right. Columbia Journalism Review, scare tactics. Again, the idea that you put quotes around single words. You go out and talk to people, then write down what they say. But if you can't quote it, use partial quotes. This can backfire. And perhaps this is another different type of thing, but these are all the idea about using scare tactics. All right. Upton Sinclair, famous American writer, wrote The Jungle in the Progressive era and helped create the Food and Drug Administration to help make sure there wasn't rats in our food. Right. He wrote in 1928, I knew, for instance, sitting at my desk, just how many extra papers I could sell with a scare line on a police scandal. The practice has also been criticized as manipulative and of questionable journalistic integrity since the same era. It's rare in the Voyager that we use these kind of like scare headlines and big and bold, but let's just take a look at what the Inquirer and other publications have been doing. All right. So these are some sensationalized. So headlines sensationalize the news. 2 more attacks on Jews. All right. Targeted on street bus. If I'm Jewish, I'm scared to death. All right. Fix, no bail now. All right, so here's some. Could your fridge kill you? Right. New York doc has Ebola. Oh my God. All right. If the doc first confirms city case of deadly virus, ooh, people are scared. I need to read it because this doc might have friends of mine or whatever. All right. And here we have like these are kind of tabloidy things. So we expect this in a tabloid, like like something that you get at a supermarket. But sometimes there can be legitimate news sources. Ebola, world goes on red alert. All right. Panic over killer virus. All right. Here we have, Lucille Ball. All right. Very famous comedian. Right. Star denies she voted commie, registered red in 36. Lucille. I'm like, that's ridiculous. Right. But it gets people to say, is America's sweetheart really a red commie? Right. Flu shot scare, 11 deaths reported. City program in trouble. 9 states called a halt. Now, again, a lot of these are from the New York Post. They're easy to see. Ebola scare in the city. Again, these are all scare headlines, right? Man tested for deadly virus at Mount Sinai. All right. Oh, let's go back. These are characteristics of yellow journalism. You probably talked about this in history, especially under with the muckrakers and the progressive era with my boy Teddy Roosevelt, who was, wanted to change things up and shake things up. All right. So oftentimes we have headlines in huge print. We have many pictures or imaginary drawings. I mean, that's really bad if you're making up imaginary things. Use of fake interviews, misleading headlines, and false information. All right. So you might be repeating information from experts, but they're not really experts. Like a doctor who says, oh, coronavirus isn't so bad. Okay, one doctor, right? Dr. Strangelove was also a doctor, but would you want to listen to Dr. Strangelove and have the entire world go nuclear? Well, watch Dr. Strangelove, right? So we have experts, but just because you're a doctor, we had doctors in Nazi Germany who, said which way to go, death camp or, worker. Just because you have a doctor in front of your name or professor doesn't make you an expert. Right? You might be a doctor of skin disease, but you don't have any idea what's going on with contagious diseases. Right? We have dramatic sympathy with the underdog against the system, and we have emotional words and symbols that use scare tactics. So for you to be a good consumer of news and what's going on, you need to recognize, okay, is this here just to scare me and to make me anxious? And if it is, maybe I don't want to read it. Right? And think about how often do you actually need to read the news? Right? It used to be a half an hour at night, or from 6 to 7, there'd be the local news and then the national news. But now it's 24/7. You can't seem to get away from it, especially if you're on Facebook and Twitter. It's all around you, making you more and more anxious. All right, so in 1964, I think this was the Gulf of Tonkin, was the prelude to escalation in Vietnam. Kennedy had advisors in Vietnam because the French were fighting the Viet Cong up in North Vietnam. 3 PT boats attack American warship. U.S. destroyer beats off attack by 3 red. All right, red is a derogatory term for communists, like red. Better red than dead, or better dead than red. These are all scare headlines. Right. It looks like now, of course, that it was a trumped up thing that never really happened in order to get the Bay of Tonkin resolution to escalate the war, right? So it's like, ooh, they attacked us just like in Pearl Harbor with Japan, therefore we need to defend ourselves. This happened with the Mexican War, of course, in Texas with Santa Ana, was a way to, start the Mexican War. Like, we were attacked. Kind of, but not anything that would lead to a war. But hey, the Iraq War, it's war, weapons of mass destruction. Saddam Hussein has these weapons of mass destruction. He's going to kill everybody. He's going to annihilate Israel. And again, there's no weapons of mass destruction. The whole war in Iraq was, the Iraqis have gas chambers for all Jews. Like, really? Again, scare headlines. These are all scare headlines. And look at this. This is very jingoistic here with the soldiers and the guns and let's go to war, right? And look how long we've been there. How many lives, how much money. It's crazy. And no weapons of mass destruction. And he was not involved at all in 9/11. Okay, this is recent. All right, so the Philadelphia Inquirer has been running headlines like this. One headline, like from 3 or 4 weeks ago, a tsunami ready to hit Philly. Really? A tsunami? I've seen tsunamis, in videos and in movies. They wipe out everybody, right? So when I read that, I'm like, I'm not going to read that. Come on, Inquirer, what are you doing? A deadly swamp. This was just in today's newspaper, okay, May 3rd. All right, I read this. I'm like, okay, it is deadly, but a swath seems to be like, that's misleading. Like, how big is a swath? Tell me actual numbers, okay? 1,800 seniors? Okay, that's a lot, but I don't know if that's a swath, right? That's huge, right? And again, it's not subjective. It's not actual numbers. Okay, let's take another one. It's like a sinking ship. People are dying every day. Well, that is true. People die every day, and coronavirus is bad. I'm not saying we should not be doing what we're doing. However, things like this causes, how would you feel reading this headline that you're on a sinking ship? Okay, there's nothing you can do, right? You're going to die or find a rescue or find a boat like in Titanic. So things like this piss me off. Information is needed, but things like this causes fear and anxiety. But newspapers need to sell. I'm not saying it's good journalism. All right. Again, this is April 26th of 2020. All right. Okay. Here are some more headlines from the Inquirer, and you can tell that a lot of them are big, bold new headlines that run across the 5 columns. All right. Lots of space to grab your attention. Kenny warns layoffs. Oh, I'm scared because now layoffs. And you can tell a scare headline when things are all caps, bold, and they go from sideline to sideline. All right. Wolf, 3 more weeks at home and it will be longer in Philly. Uh-oh. All right. New Jersey has a plan, but no date. Fear, uncertainty among city police. Again, you can generally tell of scare headlines to grab your attention because they want people to see it, buy it, read it. And there might be some really good information in there. And it might be actual factual. But again, the idea is to scare you and to make you, and I realize when I see these, when they come on my doorstep and we get the Sunday Inquirer, I says, I don't want to read this, and because I don't want to fear, I don't want to like have extra fear and anxiety. Here are more. Stocks tumble. Virus warns new coronavirus has same kill rate as Spanish flu. It's now rationing. Now it's getting serious. Deaths in Italy soar. 16 million is put on lockdown. At least this one has a number to it, right? Soar. All right. I'm not sure, it's like, okay, is that playing on my emotions? Of course it is. Deaths in Italy, 16 million deaths in Italy on lockdown. Soar, though, I might have some problems with soar. Virus panic. You have a coronavirus here, and you have a woman with a mask. All right. This is out of Britain, I believe. Daily Mirror. Okay. And so I think, what's the takeaway from this? I think the takeaway from this is just be careful what you're reading, right? It might be good to turn off the TV. It might be say, listen, I need information to protect myself and to protect my family and to make wise decisions, but I don't need it on all the time. There's other things I can do. And just watch out for these kind of scare headlines and people that profit off of your fear and anxiety. It doesn't mean we don't need the news. We need real people reporting on facts from people who are authorities, but not presented in ways that cause more harm than good. All right. Thanks, everyone. Take care. Be safe. Bye-bye.